Hey, it's a Wolf. In my previous video on this tree farm, I suggested the best one was oak. Oak's pretty good. However, I've been playing with it a fair bit more and I'm preferring birch. So the reason is birch doesn't tend to grow at one block high like oak does. So you have plenty of room to walk around in here. Occasionally you'll get one that's lower, but that is from the lower level. But then, and this makes harvesting so much easier, so if I go up here, you'll see it's far easier with the contrast between the white and the green. It's far easier to see where the logs are and where you need to harvest, as opposed to kind of searching through the green of the oaks to try and find where these are. And the way that the birch trees generate, you don't get like the nonsense from the large oak trees where they have branches going everywhere and all that. So it just makes farming these trees significantly easier. And so I would recommend switching oak to birch. But of course, you know, if you've only got oak, then use that. It's still more than adequate. Jungle logs can be fun. I've done the same pattern here with jungle logs and even acacia. I'll show that in a sec. But before I do that, so the new harvesting technique is only very slightly modified from before. What I like to do is go right to the height of the leaves from these, so that I just find that it's the quickest way to harvest everything all at once. Since you're running around underneath, none of the leaves are going to disintegrate if you are doing this, but you see that different trees generate different leaf levels. So this one here, the leaves are out here, but this tree here, they're up a block. And honestly, I wouldn't overthink it. And then this tree here, obviously this tree has generated after the ones on either side and has just shot up in the gap in between. So this one would be a bit of a taller one. So everything else is exactly the same with the way that you process these trees. I'm just finding it's a little easier if we do it this way. So you just come through and harvest all the trees. We cut all these down, then we go up the top, cut out the dirt so that the water all flows down here like I showed in my previous tree farm video, and then you jump on top and you harvest from the back to the front. So now that we have harvested those birch logs, let's go and replant. And this time I'm going to mix things up. So let's go, I don't know, 4 birch. I prefer to have birch at the top just because it's easier to jump straight in. If you have jungle logs at this level here, you're going to have to add some extra dirt because sometimes the jungle logs grow pretty tall. Right, so let's put some jungle in here. And you can do 4 at a time or whatever. I'm going to throw in some acacia just to show that it can be done. Let's put an acacia there and surround it with birch just because. You can also plant spruce in these, but I haven't got any spruce. And then I'm going to finish off with some oak, because why not? So you can see I've mixed things up. What you want to do as these grow, you want to, if you stand on a sapling, you're not going to damage the sapling, but if you stand on it and look straight up, you want to make sure that there is a clear path, at least 6 blocks. Ideally, prefer to do it just to the sky. You also want to make sure that there are no leaves at this level here. So we've got this block here. Let me switch out some dirt, just as an example. So you have the dirt here. You don't want to have any leaves at this level here, for example. That would not be good for the trees to grow. They probably will still grow, but I find that they grow a lot faster if they're clear to the sky and there's no leaves around them. So I'll be back when this forest has grown. So this farm has been running for a bit, and this is an example what I was talking about. So these oak trees, they can grow these crazy ones over here. You can either just ignore it if there's just a couple, maybe you go, you know what, doesn't matter. The other thing that we want to look at is making sure that there are no leaves right around here. So it's the same thing with these acacia. So see, the acacia actually will grow closely together even when they've got like strange branches and everything. And like I said, normally I just wouldn't bother with this. I would just get rid of I would just start chopping it down and just write these ones off as lost, I guess. So another thing that I like to do when I'm doing jungle logs, I will get the cocoa and I'll plant it on here. I'll just show you, so like that. I think I've shown it in the cocoa planting video. Alright, so we have all these, they've all grown up nicely together. So it doesn't really matter which trees you have, just things like acacia are going to be a little bit more annoying, and the same with the oak because of the giant oak system. So if we come out far enough and have a look, see these are some massive trees up here. Whereas the birch are a lot more consistent in their size. So you have these smaller ones here, and then you have the taller ones, but that's about it. The giant birch trees that you see in the old growth birch forests, they don't generate when you've planted it. They only generate on world seed. So check out the size of this. So this canopy here should be falling down, kind of, not falling down, but like dropping down. So this level here, but we've got a couple of absolutely enormous trees up here. So that's why I tend to do birch if I'm just after wood, but if you want multiple different types of wood, then completely fine to plant multiple different wood together. And just to finish off this one, I'll show you the difference when you're cutting them down on top. So you have these birch ones here, which, pretty obvious how these ones go. Right, that's fine. But then jungle is not too bad, I find, trying to find those. Jungle and birch are good. Acacia is super annoying. Like, you kind of got to guess where it is and then follow it from there. And I would recommend having a hoe if you're going to be farming acacia, just because you're going to need to clear so many leaves to find the wood. And then oak, you can get a lot more oak per plant, per growing, I guess, but it also comes with these giant ones, which can be a little difficult to process, and I would recommend getting a hoe, or if you need leaves, shears, doing that as well. Like, we're higher, significantly higher here than this fairly tall jungle tree down there. Like, so some of these oak are pretty massive. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.